Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Although I am a bit irked, a bit annoyed, as I usually get when I'm researching things to bring you videos. Now, this is a Canadian woman who is a Paralympic competitor. She's got no hands, okay? She's a Paralympic swimmer for Canada, but she was born without hands, or so I've been led to believe. But either way, she hasn't got any hands. Now, she was denied access to a Canadian bookstore. She wanted to buy a book. She was told, "You're not coming in here because you're not wearing a face covering." Obviously, with the Rona situation. She tried to explain to them, "I'm a Canadian Paralympian. I have no hands. I can't put things on my face. I'm medically exempt. I have no hands." And they still refused her. They said, "No, you can't come in here." This is what I'm saying. Now, I've done a lot of videos about small business people battling against these Rona enforcers. And if you haven't seen them, I suggest you look through my videos and watch them. So we're going to get into this. We're going to read through it, find out what happened, and I'll give you my thoughts afterwards. So without further ado, we'll get into this video. But if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video around, especially if you've got any friends in Canada who might want to see this, or anyone who might want to see this. Retweet it, share it to your social media. It only takes a few seconds, and it really helps this channel out and independent commentary. Right, let's go. Okay, so this is yesterday out of the Blaze. Paralympic swimmer denied entry into Canadian bookstore for not wearing mask, which she can't put onto her face since she was born without hands, as I said earlier. Believe it or not, Elisabeth Walker-Young went into a bookstore after learning that a boy with autism was denied entry for not wearing a face covering. So this has happened before. This is what I'm saying. People are not using common sense. I don't know how else to put it. I was trying to think of another way to put it, but people are not using common sense or discretion. This is a response of this culture we have now, where you're not allowed to question anything. If you dare question something, if you dare go against the party line or the narrative from these experts who always seem to be on the wrong side of everything, you are ostracized big time. And you're not allowed to. You're just not allowed to go against anything. It's like we live in a politically correct orthodoxy, and apostates aren't tolerated, apparently. So this is Elisabeth Walker-Young. There she is. I know the photo's not got good resolution. I didn't take the photo. It's on the website, but I should imagine it's from a still image from one of her swimming bouts, swimming competitions. So it continues. A Canadian Paralympic swimmer who was born without hands was denied entry because she can't put the mask on. Elisabeth Walker-Young, a four-time Paralympic swimmer who lives in North Vancouver, told Global News she had spoken to the mother of the boy who had autism. As we learned earlier, he too was denied entry into Indigo's Metro Town, which is located in Burnaby, late last month. With that, Walker-Young told the outlet she decided to visit the bookstore's Broadway and Granville location in Vancouver. While Walker-Young has some fingers at the end of her arms, she told Global News that putting on a mask herself is out of the question. "When I am out with my daughter or my husband, they will help me put a mask on. But when I'm out in the world independently, I just can't do it." Now, isn't that the truth? This is why people need to start to use common sense and use their discretion once again. But then again, you could say, look, well, it's okay with me saying that, but people need to be allowed to question things. If you can't question something, how can you use your discretion? So that's something you and me and everyone, I should imagine, has to take into consideration here. It continues. It's just not fair, Walker-Young told Global News. I am not an anti-person. I actually don't go out often because I am trying not to make people feel uncomfortable, which is an awful way to be negative, or to navigate the world, sorry. Isn't that an interesting statement? Because isn't that what we all feel at the moment? This is the power of the mainstream media, the way that they manipulate people. Now, it is true the mainstream media is losing influence, but it still has a terrible grasp on the minds of maybe the more gullible, the more naive. And I've seen these people. When I went to buy some new shoes about a month ago, I went to buy some new shoes, and there was loads of employees in the shop. But this one woman, she looked like she was going to Chernobyl. She was that covered up. She was an employee of the shop, and her behaviour was sickening. She wouldn't go anywhere near me, or any other employee, customer for that matter, but she wouldn't go anywhere near anyone else. She was terrified of human contact. Why is she terrified of human contact in 2020? She wasn't like that in 2019 or 2018, 2017. She's like that now. Why is she like that now? Because she's been told by the BBC, CNN, mainstream media types, who she obviously still thinks tells the truth or gives you actual news. She's been told by them that if she goes out and goes within 6 foot of another human being, she's going to die, which is obviously ridiculous. So this is CDN Paralympics. Elisabeth Walker-Young is sharing with her experience from the women's S7 50-metre butterfly from Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games. So this was quite a while ago, but then again, as she said, she's got a husband and even a son. So
we saw you earlier in the show. We saw you in the 4x1 individual medley, winning gold with Team Canada, and this is your race, the 50-metre butterfly. One length.
So there she is down there.
To the pool. Why did you like that race so much?
I think because I excelled at it. It was over when it was done, but I was also really, really strong at the hypoxic work. That means underwater swimming, and my coach and I...
There she is, look. So that's her 20 years ago. That person can't put a mask on. Look!
Swimming, and my coach and I did a ton of that, and they actually changed the regulations for how far you can go shortly after I started to do this. But it was just a power event. I really loved it, and as a double arm amputee, my legs gave me a ton of power in my core.
We saw you early.
So that was her 20 years ago in the Sydney Olympics, and as you can see, look. Use your common sense. Use your discretion. This person cannot physically put a mask on. It is not her fault. So finally it finishes with the situation with the boy who had autism, who was also denied entry to this bookstore. And in this climate at the moment, I love to read. I've got plenty of books. I want bookstores to stay open, but if independent bookstores are to stay open, they need to sell books. And how many people would have been in that bookstore at that time? You know, we're at a situation at the moment with the shutdowns, and bookstores have been declining for decades, and it's only gotten worse in the late 20th century, and especially this 21st century. It's not going to be packed like a Walmart. There probably wasn't even any customers in there at the time. An independent bookstore. Think about it, at the most 1 or 2. Do you really need to chase away your own customers? Because they've got no hands, they can't put anything on. So the outlet said Tina Chiao. Do you know what? Sometimes people have the hardest to pronounce surnames. They always seem to be the ones you have to speak about in a video. Tina Chiao of Vancouver filed a human rights complaint after her son, who has autism, was denied entry at an Indigo store because he cannot wear a face covering. Andrew, 12, also has a sensory processing disorder, Global News said, adding that wearing one, including non-medical face shields, results in significant behaviour issues. He doesn't read or write, he doesn't have the ability to use a computer, he doesn't understand the concept of online shopping. These are all problems that people are not taking into consideration or not even beginning to address as we move into an ever more globalistic and ever more Silicon Valley dominated world where you're expected to do everything online like you're a cyborg or a robot. Don't get me wrong, I love technology, I love the internet, etc, etc, but there are downsides to all of these things. It's a gigantic double-edged sword because with the internet and computing being what it is today, it is such an amazing thing and it has given us so much, but it has also taken away so much. So many important things like a sense of community and traditionalism, and the internet desensitizes people. So you don't experience things in the same way anymore because you can see what downtown Jakarta looks like from the safety of your bedroom. You don't have to travel halfway around the world anymore. And that desensitizes people, that type of thing. So it finishes with them saying it was really very unfortunate and made us very angry about the situation. I should imagine it would do with me. I certainly would have my feelings hurt as well. And I'm going to end by saying people need to start using common sense and their discrepancy a bit more, because they don't anymore. It's just, this is the party line, you have to stick to it. I don't care if you don't have arms or hands or whatnot. If you have this disability, that disability, they don't take it into consideration anymore, and they should. Anyway, what do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching the video, and if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video around to social media. Retweet it. I tweet it onto Twitter, and then you can find me there. I'm on BitChute, Rumble, Parler, Facebook, all these places. And it only takes a moment for you to do that, and if you can do that, it really helps me out. Anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye.